Welcome back, beautiful people. We got another episode of the Soundcheck podcast. It's your boy, D Reese. Adam will not be joining us today, but I am joined by a good friend of mine, BEAMIN from Mobile, Alabama. How you doing, brother?
What's up, buddy?
Thanks for jumping on. I know it's a little bit late for you over there. You're 2 hours ahead of me. You worked a long day on the 9 to 5. Had a little dinner with the fam.
Girls are in bed.
My guy's a hustler. I'd like to start by just letting people that listen to this podcast get a little bit of an intro to you. I know I already said you're from Mobile, Alabama, hip hop artist. Why don't you give us a little bit more about who you are, what you do, where you come from, and we can just kind of pick up from there.
Yeah, like you said, my name's BEAMIN. I'm from Alabama. Just long time at it in the music game. Got wife and a little girl. Work a regular job down here on the Gulf Coast. Just been making music since I was 20. Took a long hiatus until I linked up with an old producer and Dylan, and just been 2 years at it now, just pumping out music and just trying to get back in the groove of things.
Yeah. And you're how old right now? 38, right?
38.
Okay. So, yeah, there's a huge timeline here, right? Just to give people context, I guess we connected about 2 years ago through both of our friend Flight Volume. He's a producer I've collaborated with over the years. And also, for people that don't know, I do some coaching with artists outside of like management and doing my own stuff. I work with artists like on a one-on-one basis, help them figure out what the hell they're doing, hopefully fill in some gaps, spread some information, hopefully helping people skip some steps and learn, just because I know I've been doing this a long time and definitely would have appreciated some inside information on the way up, because I probably would have saved a lot of money and time. And it's something I really enjoy doing. Flight, our mutual friend, is someone I've been working with on that basis for a while, probably 6-7 years at this point. And he had hit me up and was like, yo, you got to connect with my homie BEAMIN. He was like the fucking man in Mobile.
Back in the day.
The guy. And I guess he just bumped into you golfing or something. And he was like, he wants to get started back making music, could use some help. A lot has changed like since he was rolling. And we talked and we've been just kind of rocking ever since. And yeah, you're someone I've just really loved working with. I know we've already talked about this. We talk all the time off air, but just wanted to like give you some love because I think you're someone that is super talented and you work very hard. And a lot of times it's hard to find somebody that is both of those things. And on top of that, you're also just like willing to listen, learn, try different stuff, and just kind of roll with the punches as we figure this shit out together, So it's been a joy working with you on that side of things.
Definitely. I think 2 years has flown by quickly.
Yeah, it always does. So yeah, just to get a timeline, you first started making music, you said when you were 20.
Yeah. 1920 was the first time I ever got in the studio, for sure.
That's what, 2008-ish?
Yeah, about that time, 2008, 2009.
All right. So when you first started making music in that era, tell me a bit about your process from getting a song from your brain out into the world. And out into the world, maybe that meant on CD, on MySpace or some shit. Like, because I'm like a little bit behind you. Like I started a long time ago as well. I first started making music in like 2009. And I just remember, making songs in my bedroom in my parents' house, like completely clueless, made really shitty sounding music. And then I was pressing CDs, all, it was a whole thing. So tell me a little bit about that era and like the beginning.
Um, yeah, I feel like a lot of times with how I've worked, I've gotten really lucky with like who I bumped into along the path. I think some were good opportunities and some not, but I got real lucky that like quickly into I liked to rap when I was a kid, but I never like did a whole lot or anything with it. I think I was a little more self-conscious in high school about like letting people know I did it, but when I got in college, I was getting into it and listening to a lot more hip hop, and all my boys were putting me on different people. And when I got to the studio for the first time, it was just because I worked at this restaurant and I ran into a guy who my friend just basically told, "Hey, he raps. You should let him come to your studio." It was just like that quick. And I go about an hour west of us and got in a studio, and I was pretty much like hooked from that, of just that kind of a vibe of going. And, it wasn't like the Cadillac Records studio, but it was nice to me. And I just kind of got hooked into going there and listening to other people recording and, learning from just my process of what was good, what was bad. I always just had notebooks, and then I eventually switched to a phone, and I had other people's instrumentals just making remixes, and not knowing that whether that was good or bad. I just knew I could quickly record that, get it onto a CD, or somehow get it on the internet, SoundCloud, Reverb Nation, just any of these sites that would let you put stuff up, and YouTube obviously was big, and Facebook. And that was, I mean, I probably went 2 or 3 years of making really awful, not songs, I would say, just more like 3 minutes of bars
Yeah.
that, I probably even went in later in life still doing it, but learned as I went to, all right, I need some kind of a hook. Um, and it took me a long time to really process that out, but I was just more known for being able to rap fast and say outlandish stuff and pick good beats, and I could go pretty hard live, and I tried to just like package all that up. But yeah, I mean, it was pressing, same thing, burning CDs as many as I could to give out. I made 3 or 4 mixtapes before I even tried to make an album with full songs and the beats of that I owned, I guess.
Right.
And
Right.
didn't have the best guidance on how to do the business side. And I mean, you've talked about that probably at length, but I thought I did. I thought I knew what I was doing. So I think as I've gotten into this era, learning to listen a little more and take people's advice and constructive criticism. I didn't have a whole lot of that back then, so I was really just ADD me, just shooting from the hip as many times as I could.
You think that's because you weren't around anyone that had good and useful feedback for you, or do you think it's because you were young and stubborn and just like kind of just like, yeah, fuck y'all, I'm just doing whatever I want, or maybe it's a bit of both.
It's probably a little of both. I mean, my inner like close circle and the people I was recording with, they didn't not tell me things, but I was also very stubborn and was like, I got this small city that I live in just gassing me up all the time, and it was just like basically I got to a point where I felt like that anything I made was dope, right? And nobody, not that nobody was telling me, hey, don't redo that, or let's write something different. I just feel like I didn't listen if they were. And I don't know if that's like maturity or if that's just going through it more, or maybe taking the time off and being a little introspective with it. But it's probably a mixture of both. I didn't listen to some people, and then some people I probably listened to too much and let them steer me in directions that I probably shouldn't have gone.
Yeah, it's totally fair. And that comes with growing pains and trying to build anything in life, not just music too. Like you kind of have to sometimes learn the hard way and figure shit out and make your own mistakes and touch the stove, so to speak, and be like, all right, well, that didn't fucking work. Let me try something else.
Yeah, I think most people, but when I was young, I think I was just like in my own world that I thought Mobile, Alabama, Gulf Coast, Southeast was just, and we had a little buzz, and I just thought that meant we were the the studs, and then as you get older and mature, you realize you're actually probably the small fish in a big old pond without even knowing it. So, I'm learning that more and more as we do this. It's a grind, right? And I think maybe you're a kid and you think, oh, I do this, I do this, I do this,
Yep.
and that's not
It was
reality.
also a different time, like that happened more often than not, or more often than it does now, at least in, you know, 2010 through 2013 ish. Like people definitely would make a wave locally and then it's not a big deal or have a big record and then, it'd be off to the races. I feel like now it's a lot more common that you need to kind of build what you're doing brick by brick, own the means to the
Right.
operation and, it's going to be a slow grind. Um, but yeah, cause you say like, you kind of had some buzz in the area because you were doing some pretty big shows and opening for some notable acts, like when they would come through
Yeah.
Alabama, Mississippi, that region. Who were a few of those?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest ones, MGK, Ti, Snoop, Tech Nine, Bone Thugs and Harmony, and then we had some ones like with guys that were probably more on their back half of their career, like Mob Deeps and Afro Mans, and just kind of all over the map. I mean, there was probably 20 or 25 like ones that I could probably sit down and write down where it was like that was really cool just to be a part of it. But I think that was also part of my false narrative a little, was like I'm sitting in front of crowds that are there for them, thinking, oh, these people are showing up to see me because I'm getting a little buzz now, and that was just me being
Yeah. Yeah. Like
a
you
little
didn't sell
delusional.
3,000 tickets, but you played in front of
No.
3,000 people for MGK, which is
Yeah,
awesome. But you got to kind of understand what that actually
yeah.
means, how to capitalize and how to take a step forward to become the guy that's selling that many
I
tickets or even.
think one other thing is I didn't really appreciate those moments as I got doing more of them like I should have, and just really networked with people in the crowd and really tried to make real fans. And I think I just started taking them for granted. I know I appreciated most of the time the venue was Soul Kitchen in Mobile. That's one of the bigger venues, and I appreciated the looks. I know I never really took that spot for granted. I just think it became like a routine. Like, hey, these people are coming. If the vibe fit with us, we would get the look, and then I would just kind of do my thing, and then kind of go out in the crowd and watch, or maybe try and sell merch. But I mean, I might have had work the next morning, so I might not even stayed. So it was like I didn't really take full advantage of the opportunity that gave me 2,000 people out in the crowd
Right.
that I could go shake hands and at least just be around them to see if somebody wanted to follow me on a social to get a mixtape or whatever.
Totally.
Probably not knowing that I should have been doing that. Maybe I just assumed people would fuck with me and because I was the best. I mean, it obviously not, but it's just didn't have the most mature mindset about how to really take advantage of that.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's probably thousands of people in that position that are like the guy locally or whatever for however long. And then exactly what you said, just doesn't really understand how to like make that go to the next level or expand outside of that little bubble that you're in. But even that is an accomplishment too, because like for as many of those that we're talking about, there's another 10,000 rappers that are like, how the fuck do I get to open for T.I.? Like, how do I even
Yeah.
make it happen? Or I can't even get, 100 people to stream my song or whatever. So it's dope that you had some level of success to like look at and reflect on, even if it didn't end or like go exactly how you wanted it. It's just a good perspective to have because like you kind of know what can be possible and like, you can know how to like move differently. Okay. So you kind of had that run. And when did you take a pause and take a break? Like how long did that era like last, I guess?
The break.
No, before the break. So like you just like playing these local shows and like grinding and like had like that.
I would say 20 to 28 roughly was
Okay. It was a
basically, it was
while.
an 8 year. couple years early learning it and then really getting some opportunities and then probably getting complacent and taking the same steps over and over. Taking risk, we went some places, out of town, college, a lot of college campuses, flew out. I've told you about the team backpack thing, just kind of said, let's go do it and see. Going to New Orleans, Pensacola, Birmingham a lot, which are the big cities around where I stay. Playing some good shows, playing some bad shows. I think as I got a little older, the bad shows probably wore on me a little more and more when, I'm like leaving a job to go try and do this and then end up losing money or breaking even with hotels and food and, all the stuff that comes with it. And I think mentally I wasn't at a point where I could have just kept struggling over and over. And that was probably one of the more main reasons why I kind of was slowly losing my passion for it. And the wanting to be at a venue till 1 or 2 in the morning, getting to be with y'all on this tour, seeing people leave at 11 o'clock, that was not the norm for when we were doing our events. You went on at midnight and you might not get paid till 2, but I got work at 7. It was a grind,
Yeah. So you're referencing that you just came out with J-Zach and Dylan Owen on the Still Building tour, which we just got back from a couple days ago. I was there tour managing and I routed that for them. Was able to get you involved to open on those 5 shows, and they were basically all West Coast, which was a completely new experience for you now that you're back on the grind doing music again for the last 2 years, which we'll get up to current day. And yeah, I'm really glad you got to do that with us. It was a fucking blast. But
yeah, it was a
so
good time.
when you made that kind of decision to like, all right, we're going to put this on pause, was it that, or did it kind of just slowly fade away and like opportunities stopped coming in? You stopped putting music out? Because I know you got married, started a family. Talk to me about like that, I guess, transition. If it was like all right, man, I'm done with this, fuck music, or was it just kind of like a gradual, that's just what happened?
Yeah, it definitely wasn't like fuck music. It was, I think I honestly remember a moment where I had switched jobs. We had bought a house. Not that like more bills necessarily were coming in than normal, but it was, life was starting to get a little more real. And I remember I like left work early, had to like make all this happen to get out of work. And there was this show at this local, like cool venue, but very small spot. And it was like same deal as always. I just remember this one particular, I don't know why, it was like showed up at 6 for sound check. We ended up not having a sound check because the sound guy like was late and some of the artists were late, but I was there on time.
Classic.
And then went and got food, come back. They tell me I'm going on at like 11:30. I was one of the last guys to go because I was, a little more experienced, I guess, than some of the other ones. And I guess it was a Friday or Saturday, but it was just empty. And I went on at like 1. And I just remember leaving there being like, I don't remember what I thought to myself in my head exactly, but I was like driving home and I was like, I just can't keep doing this. Like it wasn't depressing, but it was kind of depressing. Like I'm putting in all this work, but I think that all plays back to not having a lot of guidance on right decision making, because I certainly did not have all the answers. And even if I thought I knew a lot of it, I wasn't making the right steps to taking risks to get out of town and really just kind of shooting my shot. It was more like a safety zone of just like, I'll play around here. This is what I'm comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
This is, if I do a show and it's mine.
Were probably not the right ones for you, or were disorganized. You're dealing with people that are just kind of,
there was a lot of good dudes around me. I just think it was like everybody had their own thing going on, and like it wasn't a well-built team to like build up what I was trying to do. I think I was just more, and even my partner Tim at the time, I think we both kind of felt the same way, but he's just so confident, and he had been doing it. He's a little older than me, but he had been doing it years before me, and I think he just understood like this doesn't happen overnight. Now, the 8 years, whatever it was, 9 years that we were doing it, certainly not overnight, but it was just, I think I saw progression and then it just kind of plateaued and we just kind of sat at the same level for a couple years with some great moments, but it was just, there wasn't enough for me to like really feel like this was a wise career choice for me at the time, even though I wanted it badly to be so. I mean, I would have killed for it, but life was happening and had to make some money.
But yeah, it sounds like there was just more and more shows like that in situations like that where you were like, am I wasting my time? What else could I be doing? And then, so you always had like a 9 to 5 job that whole time, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, there might have been some gaps like at a time, but no. I mean, I think I always told this to people when they'd ask me when I kind of stepped away and basically quit. I just said I've never been comfortable with not knowing where my next check was from. And I have friends who like almost got through the net and, I'll use my buddy Mr. 88 as an example. Like he kind of just dropped everything and went to Atlanta and auditioned for this TI show. And I don't think he quit his job, but he pretty much told his job, like, I'm
Yeah.
coming back, but I'm quitting to go do this. And he was on the finale on BET. And I just remember all of us thinking like, dude, this might be his moment. Cause he's very good. And it didn't work out for him there. But I just remember thinking like, that's kind of, and maybe not on a TV show, but you kind of got to be
Right.
ready to go
Yeah.
homeless.
Yep.
And I always struggled with that. Like kind of wanted to know where that one check was coming every other Friday or every Friday. So I could take care of this, and this. And I've always hustled, but that was like the clean hustle, which was like, I'll do this little crappy job to get my little money.
And do you think having your daughter and being married played like a big role in that? Because you obviously felt a certain level of responsibility, you know?
Yeah, I think my daughter Adelaide, she came a couple years. Let's see. She came about 3 years into me being away from music.
Okay.
So it was before that, but I think more knowing that we were planning on doing that and it was coming, and I'm thinking like just how my folks raised me, like, you know, college fund and house and bills and, get her a car when she's 16 if you can afford it, just all this stuff. And I'm sitting there looking at where I was at. I was like, man, I'm way behind if I'm going to try and provide this life for her and for my wife. So it was like, it wasn't any one thing or my wife or my daughter. I just think I just started realizing, like, in my head, maybe in the back, I was like, maybe this is a pipe dream that I could still maybe make some music on the side, but maybe not make it my full-time focus. And what was weird was a couple years go by and it was almost like I had never done it. And people I'd see, where I live locally, people would be like, hey, BEAMIN, they'd be like, what happened? Or like, are you still making, and that was kind of always a downer conversation for me because I'm not a
Yeah.
quitter.
Right.
I've never quit really anything in my life, but it was just one of those things, like same thing we're having here. I just said, hey, life, bills, like it didn't work out for me. It does, it
For sure.
it's a 1% make it,
Yeah.
type deal. And
I think there's anything wrong with like making a pivot and stepping away from something, especially if it's within like the idea of, well, it's because there's something else better that I need to be doing, or I need to just make priorities happen. Cause there's a lot of people that like just aren't realistic about that and they end up
I was
falling on their face.
probably
So
one of those people. I mean, I know I had some skill, but I think I was unrealistic on how to get or what could come from it with my skill ability. I mean, I think everybody who makes music, yourself included, is very confident in what they do, but I think some people are overconfident. And sometimes I would second guess if maybe that was me and I just thought I was better than I was. And then sometimes I'd hear some things I cut and I'd be like, that's pretty good. Like it's just,
here's the thing, and I think this is like something that's important to say, and I think a lot of people misinterpret, like being really good at making music and making a living off of music. They're not parallels. Like it's not like if you're good enough, you'll make this much money, or like if you get better than
right.
that, you'll make this much. It's like it's a game you got to play. There's certain sacrifices. You got to make certain investments in it. Stars have to align. There's definitely luck involved, you know? So it's like, I don't think it's about, oh, yeah, you weren't good enough, so you didn't make a living. It's maybe you made some, you know, enough bad decisions in a row that didn't align with like, here's how you build a sustainable business within the music industry for what you have access to, you know?
Yeah.
And there's plenty of people, I mean, you know, we could name 50 of them that make dog shit music that are playing on the radio or like are selling tickets. And we're just sitting here like, how the fuck this guy, like this song sucks. Like, you know, so
Yeah.
it's not always hand in hand. Like if you're good, you make money. And if you're not, you don't, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's interesting to talk about because it's like one, it's like a different era and now you're back. You've been back. And I think you make great music. So it's just interesting to like kind of look back at like kind of how you got to where you are now and like what went into the thought process to like kind of start and stop. So talk to me about whenever you bumped into Flight because you knew him from back in the day. And then how did that conversation go? Like what sparked your idea to be like, man, I want to take a stab at this again, you know?
Pretty random, to be honest, because I remember he was playing in a charity event that I was playing in. He wasn't even
Golf.
on my team. Yeah, golf. He's a very good golfer, and we had talked over this like 6, 7 year, 8 year run of me not making music multiple times and seen him on the golf world, and he'd say something about some song he had made or hey, you should come by the studio. And I just was like, yeah, I'll do that. And I just never did it. I never had any like need to write anything or go look at beats. And for whatever reason, we ran into each other that day. And I don't know if it was like I had already been thinking about it or something in that conversation, but I just remember like 2 days later or 3 days later, I got on a computer and went on your favorite website, SoundClick, and just was kind of looking at beats, and I heard a couple things, and I think I was up late one night. The girls were asleep, and I was just kind of drinking some beers, and I was like, I'm gonna write a little something, and whatever that was, just kind of sparked it. And I didn't really. It wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm about to go try and do all the stuff that we're doing now, but I was just texted him, was like, I'm coming by. I think I've got like a verse or two that I could spit at your house. And he was like, oh, very excited, of course, because he does it and loves it. And we've
Yeah.
had songs in the past. And it was like one thing led to the next. That might have been like March or April of 24. And then, you know, by July of 24, that was the first single coming out when me and you had linked up. And, you know, had tried to not really look back since. And I think I've always worked the way I'm working now, but much more calculated with your help. You know, I think I've told you that before. So,
Yeah. Hell yeah.
um, great to bounce stuff off of you, obviously.
Right. Um, yeah, I remember when Flight texted me, he was like, yo, you got to work with this dude. He's fucking nasty. And I was like, all right, let's hear it. And I remember you guys sent me a couple songs. I was like, I can definitely hear where this could go. You know, there's definitely something in it. And it was funny because I didn't know the whole backstory. And I'm just like, this dude just started making music. Like I tried looking you up on Spotify and shit, and there's nothing there. And I'm
Yeah,
like, this dude sounds like a fucking vet. But, you know, you had 10 years behind you that you were doing this. There was just like a little
yeah.
break in the game.
Well, I
Um,
kind of like the fact that we started a whole new page, you know, and not that I want the old stuff to die. I just think, you know, I've changed a lot and love that the new Spotify and all the Apple Music. I just like that it's just the new catalog and it's like who I am today. Not that I'm ashamed of anything I did in the past, but I
yeah,
mean
I get it.
it's out there on sites, but
It's a brand
it's,
new
you know,
chapter and it's a whole new situation, I think. So another thing I want to talk to you about is uh what your day job is, if you're comfortable with it. Um and just like how you balance doing everything. Because I think a lot of people that are like it could be people listening to the show or not, or whatever, but people that are like trying to attempt to make music, I think most people aren't maximizing their time the way they probably could be. Um, and I think you just do a good job at that because you're not just sitting on your ass like waiting for inspiration to spark to strike. Like you got stuff to do with your
Yeah.
your job, your family, and we have like weekly calls, chopping it up. We're thinking about what you're working on, what we got to do, what we got to put in motion, whatever. And it sounds like you're just making use of your time, like you're working on music on your off days or at night. You're just efficient with stuff, and I think it's really um, it's just helpful to like talk about that. So you yeah, you could go ahead and talk about Taco Mama and all that.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked in restaurants pretty much my whole adult life. It wasn't something I planned on doing. It was just like an easy job that I got out of kind of college, and I liked it. I was good at it, and I kind of liked the lifestyle of it's fast paced. You're on your feet all day. You kind of don't know what's coming next or whatever, and controlled chaos is what we call it. But yeah, I've been with a group called Taco Mama now for 8-9 years. Really awesome company. Um, Easily the best job I've ever had, but um, it's a grind. It's a lot of hours, and like you said, I think it's one thing I've always been pretty good at is like multitasking. I think my wife would tell you that I do too much. And when I get passionate about something, I go all in, and sometimes I'm all in on like 4 different things. I think at this point today, I feel good about I'm all in on my work, my family, and the music, and I probably prioritize work and family, but family, work, and then the music. Um, and it allows me, I think, to be in a better spot. Even when we got back doing this, I think I was trying to put the music a little too much, and I think that was hurting me at home with just not being as present, maybe as I need to be. So it's been a little bit of a learning curve to do it. I feel like today, I feel very good about like
Yeah,
being fully locked into everything I need to be. I love to play golf, but I can't have so many hobbies. So I haven't really played a lot since, I've gotten kind of full into music because I just don't have time.
yeah,
So it's, you got to pick your battles, and this is one that I want to chase. So it's like, yeah, all my free brain power kind of goes to this. I mean, like today I was working, but on the way to work, way home from work, and even on the errands I had to run at work, I had 2 instrumentals running in my car, and I actually spit it for Jillian earlier on that beat that I sent you. I wrote a verse while I was in my car, and it's good, but that's kind of like for today, no recording time, no time to sit at the computer, because when I get home, we were going to eat dinner and hang out. Like that's my 1 hour maybe throughout the day where I can actually like shop some beats and use a little bit of time for it. And me, I carve out some days to record, but yeah, it's not easy. I just think I want it. I want to do it so bad that I'm going to make it work without sacrificing me suffering at my job or letting down my girls for what I need to be doing for them.
yeah, dude. I respect it so much. That's why I wanted to like bring it up because yeah, I think most people would just say they don't have the time and not use the hour commute to like write a verse or whatever. And it's like you're going above and beyond to prioritize the shit that you actually care about. And I just love that.
Yeah, I'm a little ADD, so I bounce around from song to song, and I'm getting better at trying to finish a record. I think we've talked about that in length, but it's just a grind. I mean, I think it's life. I would love to go full-time music and be able to take care of everything with that, but I think that's obviously a dream for me, so that's what I would like to do. But even if that didn't happen, you know, I'm happy. So it's just trying to balance all this out and make better music. I spent my whole goal for 2026 is not that it wasn't that in 25, but in 26 it was trying to make better songs, and really proud of the album and the stuff I've got coming. But yeah, I mean, it's the company I work for too is very good and very successful, and they have very high standards. It's not like your mom and pop restaurant joint where you can just like not give a shit.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really be bad at this gig and keep my job. It's not that type of place, which I like being there. I mean, it's tough. It's a gut check sometimes to be told you're not killing it, but they keep you humble and it keeps you on your toes. You know, every day's different, and
And yeah,
we've been around now.
what's your position there, just for context? Because you're like running.
Basically,
You're
basically like overall general manager and just help out wherever I need be. You know, I mean, I've kind of grown in the company. I started out as just like an assistant, and then just kind of worked my way up. But um, going to a new location next year is the plan. I think we're close to nailing that down, but just kind of going where I'll do whatever they need me to do. I think I've proven that I'm good at it, so it's just trying to grow in the company and move up and um, work with some good people. My boss is basically a friend from when we were little. His family's in the restaurant business, and he gave me a shot, and I'm lucky to have that, and got me out of probably not the best restaurant position that I was in. And I mean, a lot of people aren't cool, and bosses, but both of my direct bosses, when they heard about the tour, were like, especially my immediate boss was like, definitely go.
fuck
Like,
yeah, it's awesome.
you've got time off, use it, go do it. It's not one of those things where they're like, no, you can't go because you got to do this. I don't think they would want me on the road
Right.
20 times a year, but yeah, I mean,
Right.
it's definitely a good job. I'm not one to whine about working 55 hours a week, 50 hours a week and
And
complaining.
that new location, that you said that'll be the fourth one, right? That you're like kind of overseeing and operating.
Yeah, I mean, we've grown it from the first one, and the first one was not too far from my house I was living in with my wife when we first got married. We've moved since, but yeah, I mean, it's growing. The company's grown. I think we were the 12th location in the company, and now there's over 30. So, if you haven't been to Taco Mama, you should go.
We got
But
a whole commercial right here on the
it's
Soundcheck.
moving. Yeah, I mean, it's a great company. I try to honestly keep work and the music separate, just because we are kind of known well, and where we live in Alabama, there's a lot of locations and it's very popular. I mean, it's a very cool brand, and so we're everywhere. And then just obviously doing the music, my whole thought was like, I don't want them crossing over, but I'm proud of what I do on the music side. So lately I've been a little more comfortable of just like letting stuff fly and not worrying about like if anyone sees it. It's not like it's that big a deal. It's not like my music's big enough to where it's making
Yeah,
some
it's not
kind of
gonna,
bad impact on people. So, it's a comfortability thing. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a blend of trying to do both, but also knowing my job pays the bills and music doesn't right now. So I gotta lock in there, and um it's
yeah,
different. I've got to hang with you guys, some dudes that are full-time musicians, and sure y'all's grind is and stresses are the same as mine, just coming from different areas.
yeah. Um,
Paying
I
bills ain't
remember
easy.
you came out here to LA last year in December to record an album from the other room there in my home studio, and we kind of locked in and just like tried to make a cohesive project for you. What was um what was your kind of like biggest takeaway from that trip? I know you're here for what, 4 days, 5 days, something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, I love the process of that. It wasn't like I showed up with nothing ready. I mean, we were prepared, which I feel like has been our whole plan for 2 years. We've been pretty prepared on what you've been trying to help me do. But um, yeah, I mean, came out, had 7 records kind of ready to go as far as the verses, maybe, some delivery stuff you helped me with. And I know you really helped me with the hooks and um, just the production side of it. And I mean, it was fun to me. I think just like the tour, just like doing some shows, it's fun, and I enjoyed it a lot. And then getting to see what came out on the other side, which was a well produced, mixed, I felt like written album that was cohesive, that wasn't like all over the map, and it blended well, from the artwork just to the songs, and we rolled them out one by one, which was new for me. I'm older, so in my days it was you drop the whole album on people and
Yeah,
here
yeah.
you go. So it was different, and the last one came out last week. When the album rolled out, and it was just a cool process. It leaves me hungry for more, definitely. Like,
Album's out now. It's called The Odds Were Never Even. Um, yeah, that was really fun to kind of see that through from start to finish. Um, Not only get to work with you on like the coaching side and like strategy and all this stuff, like some of it's like not super fun. Like it is to me because I love it, but it's like a little bit boring, like sometimes it's
no,
like,
it's
all
the
right, let's
business
try
side
this,
of it.
but like getting involved on the creative side and like letting you put my hands all over that and like co-write with you and do the artwork and stuff and like executive produce a bit. It was
Definitely.
really cool. And I want to do more of that moving forward for myself too. So it was kind of like a nice learning curve for me on how to just like communicate and balance my creative thoughts with like what you want and just it's like a give and take. I feel like we did a great job. And I think the
Yeah, I
project's
think
fun.
that's why probably I enjoyed it so much, because you kind of let me be me, didn't try and like force me to do a song that I wasn't wanting to do. You definitely steered them in directions, but it was never a direction I didn't want to go in. Because I mean, not to
Yeah.
blow smoke, but you're obviously a good writer. You know how to do this. I mean, it's your job, so it's not like I'm not going to trust you on the decision making, and trying to not get in my own way and be stubborn or think that only my way works. And I think that's what like Iconic did. Day Off, Heater. I mean, Heater hook was you,
Yeah. That,
so
that hook is fire.
yeah. And then, I would have never been able to create that here in my room. Mood was the only one on the entire one pretty much that I just did by myself. I think I am proud of that one a lot because of that, but I just really like the song. But yeah, I mean, that's my goal, is to get on that kind of level where I can structure songs and do that. But yeah, I mean, that trip was great. I think I was a little nervous coming out. We had never met, obviously.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but that wasn't why I was nervous. I think it was just more the unknown of going out to LA by myself to Dylan's house, and we're gonna try and make an album in 4 days, and
Yeah.
let's see, and
We were super efficient. But yeah, I was trying not to and I always try this too, like even from a collaboration standpoint. I didn't want to like make a BEAMIN album sound like my album. Like I didn't want to be like,
yeah,
hey,
I can't imagine that's easy either, because where you would take songs and the direction you would
but
go, so you're trying to keep it in my lane.
it's kind of looking
Yeah,
at things through like your lens, like some of the hooks we wrote, like To the Top was a fun one to me because the whole song was about like being from the South and like having pride about that. Like I'm from Massachusetts, like that's not even
yeah.
true for me. But I was like, if I was beaming, what would I say here, and what
Yeah.
would be like a cool delivery that would resonate in that kind of space? And that was really fun.
Southern
It was fun.
drinking and gambling. That's not you. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know nothing about any of that, but it's like how do we make the best version of like what you are or could be and like will be? That was like the kind of task to me.
Yeah.
Uh, I just enjoyed doing that. So hopefully we get to do it again, and I have an opportunity to do that with more artists too because it was really fun.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, I enjoyed it. I think I kept the right expectation level too. Like, old me would have made an album and thought, "Oh, this shit's about to blow up," and it's done. It's some have streamed better than others, and I just knew that going in, and it just makes me excited to create more singles. I know we've got a plan for the rest of the year, and um, obviously got stuff coming, but it's just kind of opened up my creativity brain, and just want to see what else I can do. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. I'm gonna enjoy that. I mean, I'll have that forever. So it's something I can hang my hat on when I want to go back and listen to it years down the road, and I'll be proud of it. So there's no way I go back to Heater 10 years from now and not be like, this was a bop.
yeah, hell yeah. Um, and yeah,
And you were my only feature on the album too, which I love, because I think I came up where I relied on others to make records with me. And I
Yeah.
love the fact that 7 of the 8 are just me, even though you helped me write them,
Yeah,
and
it's still
produce 'em.
it's very cohesive, and I feel like that project is a good representation if somebody, like, doesn't know who you are, like, just go listen to that and, like, there's a little bit different vibes, but it's all feels like it goes together at the same time. Um, but yeah, so that not just that, but partially is what led to getting you on this tour with the boys, which we just kinda loosely talked about. Um, and I know it's only been a few days since the time we're recording this since you got back, but
Yeah, I'm
talk
still
to
a
me
little
about
tired, to be honest.
talk to me about that trip. Like, was it kinda like what you expected? Uh, were there any, like, good or bad things that you didn't see coming?
I honestly expected it all because I think you laid out for me pretty well what it was gonna be like. I mean, I was actually talking to Ellie today about some of the ad stuff, and he was talking about you. He was like, "I got to go catch this dude live. He's just been doing it for so long, and he's so experienced." And I was talking about the tour with him. And he said his words were, "I bet you're real glad Dylan was out there with you." And I was like, that to me was probably the biggest pro of it, just because we got to hang more. But I think if you weren't there, I still would have had a great time, but I wouldn't have been maybe as comfortable. Just with a bunch of dudes I had never met. But I mean, the group was great. I mean, I think the vibe was there the whole way. Dylan's so nice. Dylan Owen and Jerry was obviously very hospitable and on being their tour and letting me come be a part of it. So I mean, yeah, I don't have any negatives from it. I mean, maybe the bus rides, but I enjoyed shooting the shit and getting to know everybody better. But yeah, the driving was a little much, but I would do it again whenever because it was just I felt so confident after Phoenix just getting those reps in, the live reps that I don't get a lot of. I hope to get more down here and travel a little more, but I don't think all my sets were phenomenal, but I just felt a lot more comfortable on those last 3.
Yeah.
Just like I kind of knew I'm going to come in and I know exactly the song order. I didn't need a set list. I knew exactly what I was going to do. I got to, we talked enough. Like I learned a lot of the stuff that I can get better at live and getting more comfortable in between songs. And I think if I had any regret, it's not bringing people to the stage in Denver. But like I said, no negatives for me. It was exactly how you painted it on what we were kind of up against on, what cities might have better crowds and, watching these guys who were very professional in their work. And it was motivating in a lot of ways. That's one word I've used them a bunch of times since I've been home. People asking me, cause I come home and everybody thinks,
Yeah, are you
you the,
rich?
yeah, you the man. And, I'm like, no, same story. Just got a little experience out there to see what the real world's like. And
For sure.
it's real out there. I learned that.
Yeah, I'm really glad you got to join us for that one. It was very digestible as far as tour goes, I think. Which I know you talked about because probably would have been a tougher sell to your wife and your job if you were gone for fucking 30 days instead of 9 or 10.
Yeah.
But it was also like enough to be like, yeah, this is what it's like. This is what to expect. This is like kind of like the vibes. And as things progress for you and like things do inevitably start coming your way, you have a way better understanding of like what you're getting into.
Yeah. I mean, it
And
was just professional to me. And
you
I know
crushed it
like,
all the way. Like everyone was super happy that you were there.
yeah,
So
I was very appreciative of the words Dylan sent me and Jerry and me talked about a couple times. That's also like a confidence booster when you hear guys that are on their level giving you the kind feedback, and it didn't feel like they were just saying it to say it. I feel like I'm a good read of people, and it felt genuine. So that was super positive. But yeah, I mean, it was just professional. Like I was saying earlier, you show up, you do the sound check, you stand by the times you're supposed to go on, you leave the building at the appropriate time, and I'm a partier, so we were back to the hotel, and sleeping and getting on the road the next day. I mean, it just all felt very structured, and that was a great learning thing for me.
I run a tight ship, brother.
Yeah, you do. You definitely do.
Spread the word. Um, but dope. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to touch on, but it was great to, this is nothing I didn't know. Like I said, we're close. We talk all the time, but I think a lot of this is important to share and maybe just
Yeah,
read yourself too. Like you're fucking out here doing it. You got some great music, more great music on the way. I guess what's what would be best case scenario in, let's say, 2 years time from now in terms of what music brings to the table and like what you can get out of it, or like anything that you want to see happen?
that's a good question.
Maybe not best case scenario, because best case scenario is you go viral tomorrow morning and then you're just fucking rich.
Yeah.
You know?
Um, yeah, I think being a little older now, I mean, obviously everybody wants money and to not have to work a regular job. I mean, I think I'd obviously love to. And 2 years seems like a very short span for me, seeing how these last two, how fast they've gone. But I'd definitely like to be one or two more projects in. Me and King, shout out TG. We got this duo album. Like, I definitely want to create projects and with other artists, but really stick to my solo stuff and see what kind of if I can build a fan base, even if it's at the ground roots level, and just see what I can do with it. I don't really have expectations. I think that helps me stay a little more, um, keeps the fun, because I feel like if I set a goal or I set an expectation on a number or something, I'm highly likely going to let myself down, and I'd rather just try to stick to what we've been doing and get better and better, and hopefully in 2 years be making better music that more people want to listen to in their car while they're riding, or play at a party or whatever. And I think that would probably get me to a spot where I have a better listenership and more opportunities to get out on the road and open up for people, or maybe even have an opportunity to do more runs that I'm headlining. If I could say a goal, that would probably be my biggest, that I could go out and draw, heads into buildings that aren't in my hometown.
Yeah.
But I mean, also too, like, I've got other goals that don't involve music. So like, I want to make money, put money aside, work towards getting my two at the house taken care of better, and just be better, overall. So, but yeah, no hard. I want to be on, you know, superstar status. I mean, I think that's always the dream since I was a little kid, but I think being realistic, I just want to make better music and get out on the road more. I mean, getting this one little spot fueled me to like see, like, I could do this at the level I feel like that could draw people to come in. I just have to get more polished and
I agree.
more professional on how I deliver the music and all that comes with it, which is to me the hardest part. Some people can, you're the hook master. Some people can literally just be in the shower and be like, "Hey, look what I came up with in 10 minutes." Like, it doesn't come that easy to me. So like, that's what I want to get better at. So maybe it is coming easier and I can just really start clicking on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but
You've just given yourself the opportunity to get a bunch of reps, um, studio content, live shows, everything, even just like communicating with a bunch of different people, producers, your engineer that you work with, me in flight, like whoever is involved, feels like you're always getting better at all the things that you're doing.
yeah,
Um,
I'd say the two best things, if anyone's listening to this, the two best things that happened to me were putting a home studio at my house.
yeah,
That's number one. It's not even close. That's the best thing, that's happened to me trying to do this. And then having a team that actually wants to work with you, like, I've said this before. I think it was L.A. Russell or somebody said it, but if you're forcing people to work with you or pay, they're only there because you pay them, and it doesn't feel organic. And in this business, like some things are going to have fees. Like it's just natural. It's hard to wear 30 hats. You wear 29 hats, but it's hard to wear 30 hats. But I think having the team around me that I've not saying built, but that we've collectively just kind of started working on with Jay Burt mixing and getting coaching and consulting from you and having good ears to listen to it, and then having the content guys working with it's just that's the two best things that's happened, because without it, I don't think I'd be where I am 2 years down the road from being back making music without those two things. So very, very appreciative of, you know, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but the ability to get the stuff at my house and having the ability to do that, because not everyone has that. And then also being able to work with you guys and learn, because there's just no way. I'm not even a big artist, like 15,000 monthly listeners to me still seems insane, even though I've had it higher, but that seems so big to me. And I just would have never thought I'd have songs with Jaron Benton, Abstract, J-Zack, Ellis like 3 times over. It's just, it's kind of insane to think about. Thorb, like I love that dude, and to have that guy on a song, it means so much. I think some people maybe take that for granted, that it just looks like, oh, that's what you do. Like I am truly appreciative of
Well, yeah, I
getting on
mean,
my Spotify and seeing, look at these names that are next to mine on a song. It's crazy to me.
you're doing the work, man. It didn't come out of thin air. Like I can help put some pieces together and connect some dots, and like text some friends of mine, like, hey, what do you think about this song? You want to do this, whatever. But if you're not sending dope music and you're not like ready to rip when it's time, none of the shit goes down. Like it's not magic. So don't forget to give yourself the credit too, because it's not just me snapping my fingers. Like it's not
Right.
not that easy. You know what I
I
mean?
try to remind myself now and again, but I just, it's want to be not want to be humble, but I feel like I've gotten to a state where I can appreciate these things more, because I know it's just not something that happens to anyone every day. There's a billion dudes here that are really good that just don't have these opportunities in front of them right now. Doesn't mean they won't ever, but I am lucky to have them, so I just don't take them for granted.
Totally. And also, I want to kind of retouch on something you said, because the team that you're building around you, like engineer, people doing photo, video, stuff like that, they are getting paid. You're paying them for their services, right?
Well, as they should.
But there's a difference between getting paid and just kind of like going through the motions and doing the bare minimum. And I think that's what you meant, versus like someone getting paid and like, okay, I'm adding value to this situation. I'm going to do my best. I give a shit about what I'm doing. I think that's the hard part. Because there's plenty of
the
people,
difference.
Yeah, 100%.
You know the difference of the two. Like I know it. So I've worked with video guys that wanted way more money than what I pay my group currently, and got way less response, struggle to work with, not professional. And then you got dudes that have a group chat. I mean, if I could just pull up our content group chat, it's every day. It's
you guys are grinding.
Go.
People
we're shooting tomorrow.
And everyone's communicating well, but it's like you guys are grinding and working towards something together. And I
would legitimately I would feel bad if I wasn't at least in some way chipping in for their time, because they're putting in so much work, and they've helped me so much, and it's not like a lot of money, but it's, it's what I can afford now. And, but yeah, definitely. I mean, everybody's got their craft, and they deserve what they deserve, Well,
I just wanted to be clear about that too, because I think some people might hear like, yo, you got to build a team that like really believes in you. But then they're like refusing to pay people that are professionals at that one thing, or like a specialist. And then it's like, well, people aren't just going to fucking use time out of their day and work for free forever. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to be willing to understand that and do what you can. Like everybody's on a budget too. It's like,
Yeah, well, I think that's the best part is everyone's on their own budget, and if you're operating in the confines of what you can actually do, you'll probably find ways to get it done, but it's just, I mean, shit, I would love to have 2 more zeros on my budget and be able just to fire away, but I just can't do it right now, hopefully one day, but, it's just everybody can do what they can, and I just like being around good people, that was the best part about this tour. It felt like everybody, my boy Cheeky, everybody just felt like a good dude, and it wasn't ego driven, and I'm sure that's not like that every time, so I'm glad that was, like, my first real experience doing that and being
Yeah.
around good dudes, so.
I feel lucky as I get older and have more experience and more like, I guess, control over what I'm involved in. Feel like more often than not, I'm only surrounding myself with people I want to be around. And sometimes you don't know, because I never really hung out with Jay Zach to an extensive level before this tour. Like, we've known each other for a long time, done some shows together, done some songs together, but it's way different when you're in a van for 10 days in a row and eating every meal. Luckily he's, who I thought he was. He's the fucking man. And so is his homie Cheeky, but there's less wild cards because I'm kind of control the crew a little
Yeah.
bit. Hey, we don't need
No,
to
I
deal
mean,
with, you know,
it was great. I just, I'm confident in my. I don't know. I don't know. If that sounds weird. I don't want to say I'm a chameleon because I wasn't faking anything, but I just knew like what you had told me about some of these guys. I was confident that like I wasn't gonna go in there and just like annoy these dudes or something weird. Like they're gonna be like, oh, this dude sucks. Like, I was just gonna go in and be myself and just see how they were. But I could tell from Portland eating around that table that night in the hotel after we were done. It was just like I was like, oh, this is gonna be a vibe.
yeah,
Like
for sure.
it was gonna be easy, and it was the whole time. I was definitely, I wouldn't say sad. I was not necessarily wanting to go, but I did want to come home and see my girls. But I could have done 4 or 5 more cities for sure. I was having a good ass
Why were
time.
you saying
So
that? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I was weird. I don't get tired a lot, but I was really pretty gas going back to work Monday. But a couple shots of espresso and I'm back at it. So
But it's the drives and it's like the not eating properly. That's what does it. It's not the shows are fun. Like the shows are, I don't want to say easy, but it's like if all you had to do was the show and it was just like in the same city every day, like you could do that every day and no one would even bat an eye. But
right.
you might have a 11-hour drive on an off day, which is not an off day. You're just
Yeah,
in the car.
sleep schedule was weird for me. Yeah, it was different, but I don't sleep that much anyway, as so it wasn't like that was killing me. But yeah, I mean, it's a great time. I'm glad I got to be a part of it for sure.
Oh yeah. Well, dude, I could probably. Well, I know I could because I just did for a week, but I could probably talk to you for fucking 5 hours straight. But it feels like a good place to wrap. Thanks for jumping on, sharing part of your story. Hopefully, people got something they could take away from it. Go follow.
Definitely appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, only BEAMIN on Instagram.
Yeah.
BEAMIN on Spotify. Go listen to that album. That's it, I think. Any last words?
Nah. Good night.
We'll have a good one, brother. I appreciate you. We'll talk soon. And to those of you tuning in, we will see you next Wednesday for another episode. Thanks for listening.
Later,
Peace
bud.
out.